It is a new day in Meagher Valley. Hello, welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Assembly. So since the last time I played, which was like 2 weeks ago, Update 29 dropped. And so I'm here in Meagher Valley, and the sunrise is just a little bit different from the way it was before. We've got a little bit more naturalistic lighting, a different horizon line, and over there in the distance, we've got a mission that I want to go on. So I've been trying to refamiliarize myself with what the heck was going on with my community last I left them. And so I think that what I want to do right now, there is... Whoa! What? There's a new infestation? Grr, that complicates my plans. Well, I'll go there a little bit later. I actually need some materials, so I think I'll go there a little bit later. So we've got this infestation down here by Cache Beaumont, and it looks like I've actually got 2 bounties completed, and one of them that's almost there. And so what I think I want to do is go down on this mission to the drag racers. I doubt this will actually get me an alliance with them, but at least it'll make a little bit of progress towards one, possibly, which will get me closer to that last bounty. And then we'll head down to the bounty broker, and we'll see what new stuff he has to offer. Because, you know, a new month has started, and that means there's new bounties. And so I think that'll be a really good use of our time for this episode. So, first off, everybody is in miserable condition except Bruno. We have not been talking about Bruno, but now I think it's about time. So Bruno actually, he's got a different mission that he wants to go on. He's got the whole stolen meds mission that he wants to go on, but that's just not really what I'm in the mood for right now. So I think I'm going to switch it up. Let's go back to the drag racers. That's what I really want to do. We're definitely going to go after the sheriff boon eventually, but right now I think I've got other priorities. So let's figure out, I think we've never played this guy, so let's figure out how we want to outfit him. Having something that can shoot quietly would be very helpful. So maybe we give him this grease gun. And that stuff. And let's give him a sidearm too. The sidearm does not need to be nearly as, you know, whatever, quiet, because he's probably not going to use it anyway. We can give him this rampart. Or let's give him the Mac 5. Oh, wait. All right. The Mac 5 is not a sidearm. That's right. It just looks like a tiny machine pistol. It's actually like a properly sized weapon. So, oh, wait. It's got a built-in suppressor, though. Oh, that's making me like it. But I think the grease gun has actually got more ammo available for it, right? Isn't it? Yeah, I've got ammo for the grease gun. Let's bring the grease gun. And let's just go classic little 22 pistol for my backup. Why not? And then we should also bring some, let's bring some crap heals, because I can't really afford to bring anything that's a lot better than that. And, I don't know, some fuel, because I don't know what state my car's in. It's been a long time. Where is my car? It's this direction. Okay, so we'll do this mission. We'll see what consequences it has for, oh, car's not in the best shape, is it? Do I have another option? Think not. This is my car. All right. Well, let's not hit any zombies then. There's a lot of... Oh, wait, hold on. We're not tolerating this by the base. Oh, does this grease gun, does it... Oh, I can't control its fire rate. So I have to very carefully only fire 1 bullet at a time, because I can't set it to single shot. Okay, I just did not want that near my base, just waiting for me when I got back. So yeah, I am really enjoying the new lighting in Meagher Valley. It's like, you could really feel the sunrise in a way that you couldn't in the previous version. It's a pretty nice touch. So yeah, there's just freaks everywhere. I mean, it wasn't that bad when I first started this Nightmare game, but it's already accelerating into serious territory here. Alright, well here I am in Squalones. Hello, friend. I would like to avoid wasting bullets on you, so there you go. Let's see what the drag racers want to talk to me about. Hey there, Taniqua. So somebody crashed their truck. It's this one. Okay, got it. Come with me, Taniqua. Oh, wait a minute. I'm wondering, do I have access to, like, trade with these folks? I do. Okay, I was hoping that maybe they would have a toolkit, because I would love to repair my car, but apparently that's not a thing, so... While I'm here... So one thing I really want to do is build my field hospital for my sheriff. So what I'm missing is materials, so I figure since we're right here next to a shed, we can grab some materials. And then we'll go get that vehicle with the lost parts. So Zed Zaster wants to know, why can we add muzzle attachments? Oh, check it out, toolkit! Exactly what I was hoping to find. That's awesome. Why can you put muzzle attachments on weapons, like brakes and chokes and suppressors, but not put like scopes and things on them? So actually, under the hood, you can. So the way that we construct our weapons behind the scenes, they are actually built out of these pieces. And we've got a system where, you know, scopes can be swapped out, magazines can be swapped out. You'll notice that some of our weapons, the only difference between the weapons is that they've got different attachments. So we're actually using the same attachment system just deep in the guts of the weapons to do that stuff. The reason we decided to only support muzzle attachments was mostly just it was a UI thing. It was just we wanted the game to be really sort of simple and accessible. When you're making a game that's as complicated as State of Decay 2, you really sort of running up against the possibility of players simply not being able to engage with the game because there's just so much mental overhead, so many different things you have to learn, so many different things you have to worry about. So I call it the complexity budget. We've only got so much complexity that we can afford to put into the game. And if we go too far with the oh wait a minute, we're good. Are we actually going to try to drive a car? No, I think we're just kind of trying to raid a car. If you make the game, if you outstrip your complexity budget, then you start bouncing players, and there's a lot of players who end up, you know, just not being, who would otherwise have liked the game, not being able to engage with it because it got too complicated. And so we're very cautious about that sort of thing. And so if we had included a system that involved too much really detailed weapon customization, we were worried that some players would find it just kind of obnoxious and overwhelming, and they wouldn't engage with the parts of the game that they actually could enjoy. And so we decided to keep it simple and just say, you know, and like, it's not just the complexity of like needing to learn a lot about your weapons and how they work, but it's also, you know, when you're attaching an attachment, you know, you highlight it in your inventory and you just push one button to assign it to a weapon, and there's not, and then if you want to remove an attachment, you go over the weapon and you sort of, you just hit RT to detach the mod. You don't have to pick which mod you're detaching. You don't have to like open up a special screen where the gun, you like highlight all the different parts of the gun and decide what to put on and what to take off. You just push one button and we know exactly which gun it is. In fact, we were worried about the added complexity once we added sidearms, of needing to pick which weapon you're attaching your suppressor to. And so that was actually one of the risks of adding sidearms, was the fact that attaching suppressors got more complicated. We added another step you have to go through before the suppressor's on, because you have to pick which gun you mean. Whereas before we had sidearms, we just said, oh yeah, it's your equipped gun. You only have one equipped gun, and that's the one that the suppressors always go on, and there was a decision you didn't have to make. So yeah, so that's sort of the reasoning. I think if you are a player for whom you want a game that's got a lot of complexity, or you're a player who's really sort of like fixated on the guns as being like one of your favorite parts of the game, and you want that part to have more complexity than other parts of the game, then I can see you maybe thinking like, wishing that it had gone a different way, that we had made different choices about the game. And that totally makes sense. The main thing that's tough is just, we, as the developers of the game, we have to think about more than just, one particular type of player. We have to try to balance the game for a variety of different people who might enjoy it, and so we end up sort of needing to make trade-offs like that, where we make a decision that isn't the ideal decision for one player, but might be actually the thing that makes the game playable at all for another player. So we try to make the best middle of the road decisions we can about that stuff, and we hope that on balance, it ends up feeling like it was overall the right choice. All right, so, I've got the parts. I've got Taniqua. Come here, Taniqua. Here's my parts. Yep.
Thanks.
Okay, so are they friendly? They gave me some influence. Yes, they're friendly, but they are not allied. And so I'm actually going to still need to wait until they launch more missions in order to get them up to being allied with me. And so I can't complete that bounty right now. But that's okay. I've got other things I can accomplish. I think I'm still going to go see the bounty broker, even though I'm not really, I like going back to the bounty broker after I've already completed all of the bounties, and I can just, cash in all 3 of them simultaneously. But, it takes a long time to ally with an enclave. And so I think this time I'm going to let that one ride for a little bit, swap out my top 2 bounties, and because there's new bounties that just released, I can grab some more. And I think I've got those bounties because sometimes I make the mistake of starting the game on quick resume right after the month rolls over, and it doesn't update, and I don't actually get the latest bounties. This time I'm pretty sure that I actually turned off my Xbox and manually quit the game and did all the stuff, so I should have the new bounties updated, but we'll see if that's true. So drop this off, and this. Actually, I got a fair number of things I can drop off in here, so should I go back and just grab another? Oh, actually, no, this is what I should do. I should grab some electrical bits. Electrical bits. Hey there. Is this also electrical bits? So, Scott Lannon has a question, and I probably skipped a couple of people's questions. Sorry about that. Like, whenever I'm playing the game and I'm in a dangerous area, I feel like I need to be sort of extra cautious, and so I only glance over, and whatever happens to... Oh, come on. Whatever happens to catch my eye is what I end up answering. I'll try to find a spot where I'm a little safer so that I can read through you folks a little bit more thoroughly and figure out what you're saying. But Scott Landon says, so with these playtests, these official playtests that we run every Thursday, how do we record each other's opinions? He asked, do we have an internal wish list, something like that? So I'm actually not, like today, I'm not doing the official playtest. The official playtest was about, playtesting very specific things in an internal build of the game. But I had some meetings and some family stuff to take care of during the same time, so I didn't do the official playtest. I'm sort of making up for it a little bit by doing my own little playtest right now. But when we do the official playtests, we handle it a few different ways. So we've got a user research team who are really practiced at sort of figuring out the right questions to ask, the right way to ask those questions, and collecting data on people's, subjective impressions of a game. And so we've done it a lot of different ways in the past, but right now, the way we do it is our user research team they'll often put together a survey, where we directly ask, the right questions that we really wanted to get answered with the playtest. And so everyone who did the playtest, they take the survey, they answer the questions, and then we also have a place, Jira is our task tracking and bug tracking software. We will have sort of a spot in Jira where everybody can sort of make tasks that describe like bugs that they've found or suggestions they want to make. They'll create Jira tickets for those. And those will be shared, people will make comments in the game. And sometimes if all the comment says is, hey, this was great, then, we forward it to the right person who needs to, who wants to get a compliment, and they'll see it, they'll be like, great, and they'll resolve it, it'll be fine. But when somebody finds a bug, then, that Jira ticket that they write will become the official bug that is tracking the issue that they found, and then somebody, it'll be just like any bug, it'll be assigned to someone whose job it is to fix it. That person will attempt to fix the bug, and it'll go through the whole normal, QA regression process and everything like that. Now, we do have an internal wish list. When I talk about the idea board, it's in Jira. It's another, sort of internal task tracking mechanism that we use. But instead of it sort of each thing being assigned to someone and it sort of sits in their sort of bug list until they've fixed it, which is the way the bugs work, these all just sit in one central place, and we sort of rank them according to their priority, and we categorize them so they're easy to find. And it looks like one of those zombie kills I did cleared this infestation, so great. Time to head down to the van down by the river. And so that wish list it's huge. And it contains, every time, but that's not every single suggestion somebody has for the game. Like the smaller suggestions that grow out of our playtests that are for like ongoing work that's in progress, we usually handle those a little bit more casually. The wish list, the official wish list, which we call the idea board. The official idea board that we have internally is actually is more for like long-term ideas for things that we're not working on right now. So if somebody has an idea for something we're in the middle of working on, like if somebody, goes to a playtest is like that where we're playtesting the new, hordes and infestations feature, and they have commentary on that, well, that'll just go directly to the team that's working on it already, and it won't go into the idea board at all. Things go into the idea board if we're not working on that thing right now, and we're not sure when we're going to work on it, but we want to hold on to the idea for later so we can like look through it in the future, sometime when we're not sure what we're doing next. We can look through it and find ideas for good improvements we can make to the game. And so that's what the idea board is for. So so we kind of use all of those. Like somebody in a playtest might have some brilliant idea that has nothing to do with what we're working on right then, and then those will go onto the idea board. Otherwise, they all become little tasks in Jira or survey answers. Anyway, okay, so I only had one more. Oh, there was a survivor in trouble that I missed. Dang. So we only have the one more bounty in the Trouble Valley pack, the one I'm already working on, about getting allied with enclaves. But now we've got the pawn shop pack, which is a little bit more of a grab bag. Let's see, so killing armored Zeds with vehicles. I could do that. What else do we have? Crafting Molotovs. This is an easier one to do with the Salt of the Earth, because they've just got all the resources in the world. Killing Screamers with fire. That's a lot of Screamers. Zombies with heavy weapons. Bloater while crouched. That is totally doable. Let's do that. Juggernauts with rifles. It's a little specific. Ferals and zombies with heavy weapons. I feel like these two heavy weapon ones I should do at the same time. These three heavy weapon ones I should do at the same time. So let's just grab armored Zeds with vehicles. If I see one, I'll try to hit it with my door. And that'll be fine. Alright, but one of the main things I was doing was grabbing materials and taking them home. Now, we've got this other infestation over here. I don't want to let my infestations get too bad. As fun as that is at lower difficulty levels, I really don't want to deal with morale hits and stuff like that in Nightmare. So I'm going to go up and try to take out this last infestation. And it's in a spot that it's probably going to give me more materials. So I'll be able to... Hello, friend. I'll be able to probably get started on my field hospital. I think I'll have enough materials. I can get started on my field hospital, and that'll be good. Another thing I am going to need, though... I should have a second outpost. And actually, I might even be ready for a third outpost. Yeah, I've got 2 empty outpost slots. Now, I could grab the Landmark Outpost here, except I've already got the Builder Boon. So the Landmark Outpost here is just a source of power, so that doesn't seem good. It's right there, I think, is the Landmark Outpost. But that doesn't make sense in Meagher Valley. So I should just think about, let's go grab these materials and then go back home and figure out what my base really needs. Like, what am I short on? And then we'll go and we'll claim appropriate outposts along those lines. So it's fun having the Pawn Shop Pack back. Pawn Shop Pack was one of the first ones we did, I think. I just missed the infestation. And the reason, the Pawn Shop Pack, I believe, that was in the early days of the Bounty Broker when, the original reason... why we created the Bounty Broker was because our weapon artists, Dan Mode, Mark Lautenbach. Why can't I say his name? Mark Lautenbach and Brandt. They kept making weapons. They were just making weapons all the time, and they were making more weapons than we really had a place for in the game. And when they made weapons, there wasn't. Holy crap! There's a freaking lot of these zombies. When they made weapons, the only thing we really could do with them is stick them in the loot system, which meant that it was really difficult for players to find them. You know, it's like, yay, there's a new weapon in the game amongst the other hundreds of weapons in the game. Good luck finding it. It's like, it just felt like it was useless to even advertise to people that we had added weapons in the game, because they would literally never see the new weapons that we had added. And we're like, there's got to be a more satisfying way to expand the weapon system of this game over time. Okay, well, there went the last of my... Okay, this is too many. Get off. Oh, I'm almost infected now. Okay. You know what? I think I might need to... Okay. Let's see if I can... Without destroying my car... Okay, so we did clear the infestation. That's good. We used some very rare and special... like, I can't... Right now, I don't have the infrastructure to repair my car whenever I want to. We are right next to a seconds, though, so maybe that was an okay trade-off to make. But yeah, so we would add weapons to the game, and then, like, it would be dissatisfying for the artists because, you know, nobody would see them. It would be dissatisfying for the players because they're like, oh, great, there's new weapons. Wish me luck finding them. Oh, another one. Wow. I'm finding a lot of repair kits. That's weird, actually. Why am I looking in here? Well, I need to find a place that's likely to have materials. This thing probably has materials in it. And so we're like, we need some way to add weapons to the game and like drag these weapons that, you know, these guys have been making for months and put them in a game in a satisfying way where players can actually find them and enjoy them instead of just shrugging. And so, yeah, so we came up with the idea of the bounty broker. And so the pawn shop pack was one of our earlier bounty packs, because that theme is just basically like whatever we happen to find on the shelf, you know, is what the pawn shop pack means. And it's just, you know, the weapon artists, they just made a bunch of weapons that they personally liked and thought were cool. And they didn't have a theme to them. It wasn't like, you know, the Trumbull Valley pack or something, which is, you know, all about stuff that reminds you of Trumbull Valley, all this nostalgia stuff. It was just... I don't have room. It was just whatever. Yeah, and so that's what the pawn shop pack is. It was the stuff that Dan and Mark wanted to make when there was no plan, and they just wanted to make something, and so they did. And it ended up in the pawn shop pack. That is not my base. That is my base. All right, so there's a horde here. There's probably a plague card around here somewhere, but I don't care. I killed the infestation, I got the materials, and we are headed home. Cogs asks if I'm going to be recruiting those 3 mechanics that are going to come with the mission that I started this episode with. So I'm pretty sure I don't have any mechanics right now. So that doesn't seem like a crazy idea. Right now I don't... So oftentimes the mechanics are a really good source of, you know, if you want to get your the population of your community up to, you know, up to the maximum, grabbing, you know, one of these enclaves that lets you recruit them 3 at a time can be a good idea. The problem in this particular case, so the way that you get to recruit all 3 of them at the same time is by failing their next mission. And not having them become your allies. And so I think that might not be what I want to do in this case, because I'm specifically trying to get allied with another enclave. So that's one issue. Another issue is, here in the Nightmare Zone, you know, food is very precious, and I don't know if I can actually feed 3 extra people right now. And so as much as I would like a mechanic, I think on balance, it might be smarter for me to not try to recruit all 3 of them. Instead, complete their arc, make them my allies, And then once they're released from their arc, I think that I might still be able to recruit one of them if I want to get a mechanic without just immediately, outstripping my ability to feed people. So maybe that's going to be my plan. All right, so we're dropping off a ton of stuff, and this guy is very sick. We should not play him anymore. Okay, we're safe at home now. Safe-ish at home now. One thing we don't have is a Haven device, though, so I don't know how long that's going to last. And there's a horde outside, too. Oh, wait. Oh, it's a military horde. It's a military horde. Oh, no, they're coming into the base. Hold on. Nope. Hold on. Don't kill those guys yet. See if I can attract them back outside the base and kill them with my car. I want to kill them with my car. Oh, they're already inside. My people are already dealing with them. And look. Oh, it was only one military guy. I thought the entire horde was going to be military. No, that's not the case. Okay, fine. We'll just deal with them. All right. Is that everybody? It's probably everybody. Okay, I'm going to climb up here in case something goes wrong. So, Hikaru Kishi says, I'm hoping to see you try to run over a feral in Update 29 today. I was not aware of ferals changing at all in Update 29. Is there something weird about trying to run over a feral these days? Let's have a look at our base. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to do was build a field hospital for my sheriff. So we'll get that in progress. That takes almost all of my labor. The other thing I should do here is install a signal antenna to give me even one more outpost slot that I'm not using. That's all of my labor. Now that we've got hydroponics. Yeah, so I can install, meds yield. Food or meds. Okay, yeah, so I've got other stuff I want to install too. Whenever we're done installing that other mod. How are we doing with food now? So, okay, plus 0.5 a day. Overall, between Creighton having some skill that gives us food, hydroponics giving us food, and my food outpost giving us food, we've got a bunch of food, and we're actually self-sufficient now. So that's really nice. We can even start making a profit on it with the gardening tools, so that's good. Meds we are costing ourselves though. So I feel like my next mission that I've set for myself should probably be to claim some kind of meds outpost to stem that bleeding. Like this free clinic over here, for instance, might be a good one. Now, location. This one works. It's not really in a place where I'm planning on doing a ton of scavenging, so it might not be the best place. Although, I don't know. There's still a fair amount of materials around here. Yeah, this might be a good idea. So yeah, I think that'll be my next target. And then while I'm out, I'll try to look for armored Zeds. I think there is actually a military presence like over here somewhere. So there might be armored Zeds vaguely in this area. And of course, the next time I see a bloater, I should crouch down and get him. But Bruno is too sick. I should probably figure out a different character to play other than Bruno. So let's set myself up to succeed in the next thing. So, Izad. Izad has fully recovered from everything that was ailing him. So let's switch to Izad. He has got a suppressor on his AR-15 and a Clio tumbler on his revolver. He's got some meds. Yeah, he's ready to go. Oh, I've got so many things. They've all got badges on them. Badges? We don't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Okay. There we go. All the badges are gone. That's great. You get to watch me clear icons. I know this is the most fun part of the game. Okay. So, I did all the base stuff, but the thing I said I was going to do earlier on, I really should do, which is climb up to a safe place and then try to go and actually catch up with all of your questions here. So let me scroll back a little bit. At least the ones that have got my name tagged in them. I should go and see what they say. Let's see here. So average Twitch user says, hey, when getting shots in the dark and listening to the DOC ramblings, one thing that caught my attention was the fact that the plague wasn't new. We just had Zeds running around. That what made the plague. So I'm not actually sure what you're. I don't remember what VO line you're talking about or responding to. I'm not sure I understand what your question is. So zombies and the blood plague are kind of two. They're a little bit distinct from each other because you can have a zombie that doesn't have blood plague, and then there's blood plague on top of zombies. Blood plague is just sort of like zombies leveling up a little bit. Basically, it's like it clearly seems like it's related to the thing that makes people zombies, but it feels like it's sort of a nastier version of it. And so yeah, so people, zombies happened first, and then people started noticing the blood plague after the zombies had been around for a little bit. And so yeah, so I'm not sure how to answer your question exactly, but that's what it made me think of, if that is useful to you. Oh, so Hikaru Kishi says, there are a lot of leftover enclaves from quests that require confronting enclaves, regardless of if they failed or were active when I logged out. So I have 4 of them now that are cold to you. Interesting. So the cold enclave relationship is supposed to only be used in one case. And that is the case where you've got the arms dealers, the people who are charging too much for weapons. Basically, originally, we wanted there to be sort of a negative relationship you can have that wasn't outright hostile. And then there was a decision made right before the release of State of Decay 2 to simplify that and get rid of that cold status and just have you go straight from neutral to hostile. I'm not a big fan of that decision. I think that it's nice to have a non-murderous level of bad before you get to the murderous level of bad. But it was a decision that was made, and like trying to like backtrack on the decision is really hard. And so one thing we did, so we ended up with we tried to remove the cold relationship from the game, and we ended up leaving little smatterings of it all over the place by accident. And so for a while people were seeing it, and it was awkward and strange because, enclaves didn't know how to like spawn normal missions when they were cold. It could get really odd. And so then I did a pass through at one point where I just removed every single thing in the game that turned an enclave cold. And then cold wasn't used for a few months. And then we got into the situation where we had this mission where the mission said in the mission text, these guys are charging too much for weapons. And they did during the mission. But the moment you ended the mission, they stopped because it was just a feature of the mission that they were charging too much. It wasn't actually intrinsic to that enclave. And it just felt fake and weird. And so I was like, you know what? We can change the pricing of trade with an enclave based on their relationship. And we've got this relationship mode that we're not using. We've got this relationship setting we're not using. So how about I put a massive markup on all of the items for a cold enclave, and then make this enclave the one enclave that uses cold. And so that's what I did. And so now, so if you've got a bunch of cold enclaves right now that you just created, they must be from that one mission where you've got the arms dealers. You must basically be ignoring the arms dealer mission again and again and again, and the world's getting populated with cold enclaves with guns for sale that are way too expensive. So that's kind of funny to me, actually, that's how it went. Our game does so much of that. Like, our missions are not very tidy. They leave garbage all over your map, and I'm so sorry. There are ways to fix that, but they're complicated, and we haven't devoted the time to make that happen. Awesome Twitch Dude says, is it hard finding ways to make a perfect game better? I imagine it must be. That is not the situation that I'm in, however. So Awesome Twitch Dude asks, I've actually answered this question before, but I'll do a quick one for you. So Awesome Twitch Dude asks, were the Red Talon and Network weapons originally meant to be added as bounty packs? He says, that he found bounty banners and icons in the game files for them. No, so they were not originally intended to be bounty packs. They were always intended, basically, the goal of making icons for, of taking the network weapons and the Red Talon weapons and putting them into bounty pack-like data categories, basically, behind the scenes, was just to put that icon there in the inventory. The fact that they ended up with banners as well was actually just kind of sort of a process accident. Basically, we had some new folks that we're learning how to work within our UI system. And so we were using this as an opportunity to sort of like give them a chance to like, hey, learn how our UI system works. Make these icons for these weapons. And so they just sort of like, in order to sort of learn how the tools work, they took it further than was necessary. Learning like all the different ways that we could add art to one of these item categories. Basically, item catalogs is what we call them behind the scenes. And so all we really needed was to put a little icon up in the corner right here. But because we were making this entire like larger thing behind the scenes, it wasn't crazy to go in and like, hey, let's make just do the whole shebang for all of these weapons. And so that's what they did. And like, we're probably never going to use the banner that they made, but it doesn't hurt the game for it to exist, and going through that entire process probably, help familiarize them with the UI system, and it's going to make future stuff that we do better. So, not complaining about it at all. It's great. But that's a lot of the times, there's always, turnover on a team where, the UI artist that actually, that did a lot of this UI and actually, revamped the UI during when we released the Juggernaut edition. She works at another company now. She doesn't work for us anymore. And so and she was great. She did a lot of really, really good work. So when she, left, we needed to replace her with somebody. And whoever that is has to learn how all the tools work, how all the systems work, how everything fits together. And so you have to come up with like, what is the right job to assign somebody to do, when they are coming in and learning everything completely from scratch. And so this felt like a nice exercise to put somebody through to learn how a system worked. And so, so that's kind of, we always wanted to add those icons, but this felt like a good reason for the timing, for like why to do it right now. It's because it's a good opportunity for somebody to learn our UI system. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm trying to catch up with everybody. Okay, let's do one more thing here. So, average Twitch user followed up after my last comment and said, I'm talking about the lore of the Blood Plague, seeing as the Blood Plague developed over time on its own. What happened for that to happen? Okay, yeah, so we are on the same page about what you were asking about. The whole question of like, the zombies happened first, and then there's this additional layer on top of the zombies, which is the Blood Plague. Why did that happen? We're not answering that. Answering that question would get really, really deep into sort of our sort of underlying unrevealed lore about why the zombies work the way they do. And we're like deliberately not revealing that. We don't want to share that just because whatever, like when you talk about the cause of the zombie apocalypse, usually that implies that there's a solution. And we don't want this to be a game that's about the solution, about solving the zombie plague. It's about living with it. And so the more we sort of, if we leave that question unanswered, it helps imply the idea that this is not something that people can just figure out and fix. It's something that's going to be with us long term. And also, the other, worry is, explanations for lore like that, sometimes they can be amazing and really, really satisfying. Most of the time, they're hit or miss when people reveal the secrets underlying stuff. And so, whatever works for you in your head, the way you think it probably works behind the scenes, I'm happy to like let you keep that. I don't need to tell you what the stuff that we came up with is, what my favorite explanation is. Because if you don't like it, then you don't like the lore of State of Decay 2, and that just doesn't seem helpful. And so go ahead and just have, whatever you think. Have your theory, just like all the different survivors in the game have their theories about what caused it. You just keep having that theory, and we're probably never going to reveal it, because it's not what the game's about. It's useful for us to know where we think it came from, so that we can keep things consistent with each other, and there can be some like internal logic to it. But I don't think it actually helps us to try to tell you what we think it should be. Vox, exactly, like going to the CDC in The Walking Dead, stuff like that. It's like that was the in the first season of The Walking Dead had some amazing stuff in it. Going to the CDC and getting answers, even the scanty answers they got, just it was probably one of the weaker episodes in that season, probably because that just wasn't what we were there for. That's not, the audience wasn't there to find the answer to the zombie plague. They were here to watch Rick Grimes and his team try to live in that world. And so it was a little bit beside the point, And also, and sometimes it's like one example Oh, here we go. Zombie threat at home. There's going to be a siege, but I'm going to pause the game so that we don't deal with the siege during the finale of this episode. I've been watching All of Us Are Dead on Netflix, which is great. I don't believe their explanation for how the person who created the zombie plague. I think that's far-fetched and preposterous. I don't care that much because that's not what it's about. But if that show was relying on me liking their explanation, that part did not work for me. But it's okay. There's a lot to love about that show, and I'm totally on board with it. But I just don't want to cause that same kind of cognitive dissonance for our audience by trying to explain the source. Like, the source... Now, in that particular case, the source of the zombie plague is not really... It's not about trying to find a solution. The source is about the themes of that story. I gotta say, even though... So I actually, even though I don't buy the source of their plague as a scientific possibility, I do accept it as an audience member because the reason that they had it, they chose the origin. I'm not going to tell you what the origin of the plague is. You should watch All of Us Are Dead. It's a great show. But they chose the origin of their zombie plague specifically because of what the themes of the show were about. They made the source of the plague be about what the show was about. And that was a really, really good decision. So even though I don't buy it, as an Expanse fan who really likes to have, his science hang together, I was like, this seems like it's not really a thing. And I didn't really buy it on that level. That's not the level where they were trying to sell it to me. They were trying to sell it to me as a thematic element of the story. And that does work for me really, really well. So I'm not going to tell you what it is because you should discover it on your own. But it's a good show and I recommend it. Okay. Anyway, I said I was going to stop talking. And so I should do that. Let's wrap up this episode. Subscribe button. Next episode right there. Something else. Go for it, YouTubers.